Welcome to Connecting the Dots, the official Securitas podcast. Hello everyone, we're back with another episode of Connecting the Dots. We're here today in our studio in Stockholm. I'm Marina, one of your hosts.
And I'm the other host, and I'm Carin Andersson. And today we have Ojas, who is our General Counsel for our division AMEA. And in Securitas we have 4 divisions, and AMEA is one of them. So a warm welcome to you, Ojas. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Carin. Hi, Marina. Thank you for having me here. I am Ojas. I'm the General Counsel for Securitas AMEA, that is the Africa, Middle East, Asia Pacific Division. I've been with Securitas for over 3 years now, and I'm very happy to be here at Connecting the Dots today.
Yay, we're so excited for this episode too. We have lots of questions, right?
Definitely. So tell us, in an ordinary day in your working life, what do you do?
Okay, so as a General Counsel, I am responsible for everything legal and compliance in the division. So whether it is contracts, whether it is disputes, whether it is employee grievances, whether it is legal management, whether it is mergers and acquisitions, I support and I make sure that all of this is in line and that Securitas is a compliant organization.
Cool.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool.
I've heard something that is called legal tech. Is that something that you work with also?
So legal tech is essentially the use of technology in the legal function.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do use quite a bit of legal tech in Securitas AMEA. So to give you some context, we have 12 countries in AMEA, and out of those 12, 4 countries have in-house lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
In 8 countries, we depend on external lawyers to provide legal support. So to bridge that gap, we have started using technology to a large extent to support in the contract review work. So yes, we do use some legal tech in Securitas AMEA.
That is so impressive. I mean, I did some research and I found out some numbers from artificiallawyer.com that they say that the legal tech sector received investments of $1.4 billion just last year, half of 2021. So this is very much happening right now. But as always, when we talk about technology, I feel like some people have resistance to it. It is something new. It is something that brings new ways of working. People are not used to. So I wanted to know, how is the adoption of new technology in the context of lawyers? Just out of curiosity.
That's a fantastic question. And I think there are 2 sides to this question here. First part is for lawyers as such. We are trained to be traditionalists. We are trained to be following precedents and what has been done in the past and to stick by the book. So anything that is a change from that is not part of our training, right? So maybe there is some resistance to new technology initially. But the second part, the other side of it, is that one has to be able to show the advantages that we get by use of technology, how much it improves our efficiency, how much it benefits lawyers as such, and I think then the resistance goes away. Also, legal technology is not something off the shelf. It's not plug and play. It's more about fixing a problem that a team has. So what is good for one team may not necessarily be good for everybody. So one needs to look at what exactly is the right solution for an organization or for a team, and then approach it with an open mindset.
Mm-hmm. So making your case and also making space for change.
Absolutely.
Great.
And it's also a way of evolving, I guess, the role as a general counsel or a lawyer.
Yes. I mean, the role of a general counsel is always evolving because we keep coming up with new laws, we keep coming up with new issues. And the purpose of a general counsel is to make sure that the interests of the company are met at all situations, in all circumstances. And also at the same time, drive the strategy of the company. For example, Securitas right now is running after or working towards becoming a high margin company. we aim to be 8 to 10% growth very soon. How can the legal function in that case work in that direction? So as a general counsel, what can I do in my role? It could be in terms of reduction of costs. It could be in terms of making sure we have better contracts. It could be in terms of making sure that our commercial teams are trained to negotiate better terms with our clients and how they can negotiate better, higher margins with the clients. So the role of a general counsel definitely keeps evolving, and it has always been made to make sure that the company is moving in the direction of our strategy.
Right.
I think that's really cool, because that's what it's all about, independently of where you're working, supporting the business is something that we all need to have in mind when you do things, I think.
And technology is here right now, right? It's not something that we talk about the future anymore. It's only going to become more part of our day-to-day life. So of course it will affect our jobs and everything. But I think it's really interesting, like this aspect of legal tech, because it's something maybe you don't really stop to think about, that you can use technology in this aspect too. So I think it's super interesting.
But how has the role changed during the last, let's say, 10 years?
In the sense that now a general counsel is your business partner. Whereas earlier, the role of a general counsel was seen more as a support function, as somebody who was there to fix a problem whenever there was a crisis and not necessarily directly involved with the strategy of the company. So that is an evolution that has happened, and I think that makes a lot of sense. You cannot decide what is the future without knowing what is the context of the law, what is the environment in which we are working. And I think that is a growth in the role of a general counsel that we have seen across all organizations.
Okay, so would you say that, or how would you say that digitization of the legal processes can help manage scale and compliance? How can you be supported by legal tech in that area?
With the help of technology, a lawyer can be more efficient. The same lawyer can do more work, and therefore we can manage scale. The example that I gave you was that in AMEA, we have in-house lawyers in 4 countries, and the rest of the 8 countries, we support their contract review work from division with the help of 1 lawyer. And that is only possible because we have the technology for it, because we use a system that uses artificial intelligence to review contracts. And to give you an example, we still have very lengthy contracts, especially electronic security contracts in construction industry. You could have a contract anywhere between 700 to 1,000 pages. And in regular course of work, it used to take a lawyer a week to review that one contract.
Yeah.
And with the help of this technology, we are able to review that contract in 26 minutes. We reviewed a 776 pages contract in 26 minutes. So imagine the amount of efficiency. Yeah. Even though technology is not foolproof, so it is not infallible, we will still need a lawyer to go and review it. But it takes less than 1/3 the time that it used to take earlier to review the same amount of work.
Right.
So that way, I think you can definitely be sure that we are able to manage a lot higher scale, a lot bigger scale with technology. As for compliance, I think there is a scope for human error if everything is not digitized. If we just have a list of things that we need to comply with, as opposed to having a system that would give you, say, an alert that this is something that is due, or there's a compliance that needs to be completed by the end of this month, or you need to renew a contract in another 2 weeks, things like that. So that makes compliance process a lot more efficient and definitely improves the accuracy levels.
Wow, that's so cool. Like the difference, like having that comparison of time is like, it just shows, as you said, why this is important, how it's just helps so much. But I always bring forward like diversity and inclusion whenever I can in this podcast. And I wanted to ask if you think technology or the aspect of legal tech is somehow helping women lawyers succeed.
Absolutely. I think anywhere where we use technology, where you're not using physical force and it's more mental work, or automatically, I think we get a better level playing field. So we have more scope for diversity and inclusion. That said, I think the legal function in Securitas is a flag bearer for diversity and inclusion. We have almost 60 to 70% women in the function.
Amazing.
So it's skewed the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very good sign for a function. Even though it is a male-dominated industry, yes, security business is very male-dominated. And I think diversity and inclusion is more than just men and women. It's also about people who have special needs, or it could be about people from different kind of racial backgrounds. And I think, again, the fact that the legal sector or the legal team is doing extremely well is a good indicator that we're doing well on diversity and inclusion.
Word, that was really cool.
Oh,
like
really?
giving a 360 on this. Amazing.
So, Ojas, if you could name a top 3 must-have in legal tech, what would they be?
I think first would be a tool to comply with the contract policy approval processes, which we have in place in CEP. And secondly would be a compliance tool at a global level that we have in OneTrust that would, assist us in complying with several policies at the same time, like data protection laws, like your conflict of interest, and all of these policies. And then thirdly, I think given that we are such a contract-heavy service industry, any tool that assists us in the contract lifecycle management or the contract review process is also an excellent tool to have.
Cool. Did the listeners write that down? Top 3 from Ojas. Great. I mean, this is the perfect moment to call a break. And after that, we're going to dive into Securitas AMEA and what we're doing with legal tech. So exciting.
Cool. See you soon.
See ya. You're listening to Connecting the Dots. Legal tech is becoming a crucial tool for transforming legal departments to be more productive teams. According to a research done by Gartner, experts expect these departments to triple their spending on legal technology by 2025. The research also highlights the positive direct impact of technological innovation on corporate legal, particularly in productivity, its potential for raising compliance risks, and its transformational role on the legal value chain.
So welcome back to Securitas Connecting the Dots. We are here with Ojas, our General Counsel from AMEA.
And we have, we're going to do a dive in right now into what Securitas AMEA specifically is doing with legal tech, which has been our main topic in this episode. And it's so interesting. So we're going to start off with how does Securitas AMEA use legal tech? Just tell us all about it.
Thank you for that question, Marina. We've been doing some exciting things and I'm happy to share that with you. Let me begin with my favorite project, which is use of technology for doing contract review work. So like I explained to you earlier, we have lawyers only in 4 countries and 8 countries were depending on external law firms for regular contract review work. So we needed to find a solution where we could do this in-house to save the costs. And we have only 1 lawyer at division, so it would have been very difficult to give a full support to 8 countries with just 1 lawyer. So we went out to the market and searched for a tool that could help us in doing this. And we found a tool that uses artificial intelligence to review contracts. But this particular tool is a bit complicated and it is used exclusively by lawyers, and that is how it is built.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted a tool that could be used by the business users and the lawyers. So the business users could do the basic contract review initially, and lawyers could come in towards the end before the contract is signed to make sure that we are fully compliant with the contract policy. So what we did was we found another tool in the market, which is a very user-friendly tool, almost like using Facebook. So we didn't have to spend much time on training the people. It took barely 15 minutes of training. And we combined the tool on the back end. So we have a tool that is used by all the business users. We have about 68 business users in AMEA that are using this tool, and about 8 lawyers that are also using it. So I think this has really been helpful in the last 4 months. We've reviewed more than 700 contracts using this tool, which is an excellent number for a division like ours. And the business users also see a lot of value in it. Besides this tool, we also have the in-house tools which we use, which are the group tools called CEP for the contract approval process. It has a lot of good insights, commercial information on contracts. And then there is also OneTrust, which is a tool by the group for compliance.
Can I ask you just before you continue, CEP? That was an acronym that I haven't heard before. What's the CEP?
CEP is the Commercial Excellence Program. It's a Microsoft Dynamics platform that the sales team, the sales process in Securitas is based on.
Okay.
Cool. And then the other program you're using is OneTrust that you're talking about.
The other tool is OneTrust, yes. And we have been blessed to have found OneTrust this year because in the last 2 years, 2020 and 21, we have 8 new countries in AMEA implementing new data protection laws. And to comply with that would have been a nightmare if we did not have a tool. So OneTrust is really helping us in starting that process, starting that journey. Starting with data mapping and assets and tools mapping. So that has been also a game changer for us in AMEA.
That's cool. And highlighting that, the usability of the tool is like something super important, right? To be able to implement and to have everyone on board. So really cool that you found something that worked for where you're looking for it. And it was also easy to use. I think that's also key.
Absolutely.
And compared to other organizations, how well are we doing in legal tech, and how well are we using the possibilities that is in legal tech?
That is a very good question. And to give you some context, in Group Legal, we worked on some work streams where we were trying to understand how does Securitas as an organization compare to other organizations in the use of technology. And we found that we are doing very well. They're doing extremely well because we do have tools like CEP and OneTrust at a global level in Securitas, which a lot of organizations don't have yet. Of course, when it comes to the use of the contract review tool that we have in AMEA, we are probably ahead of the curve because I only got one other company out there that is using a similar tool for contract review work. And that is out of about 23 interviews that I did, where one of the company using a tool for contract review work.
Cool. And then to, tied up everything here, how is your own industry's perception of legal tech in general, in your opinion?
Okay, so there is a approach or an attitude toward legal tech depending on how an organization is set up, right? Because legal tech is an investment. And if you are a centralized organization, then the budgetary discussion happens at a group level. But if you are a decentralized organization, then those budgetary discussions need to be justified at a country level. So every country needs to have a buy-in or needs to see the profit of investing in legal tech if it is a decentralized organization. And besides this, I think a lot of organizations, even decentralized organizations, are realizing the importance of having like a central critical repository of legal data because it is extremely critical when you're making business decisions. If you know, for example, that a particular country is less likely to have liability caps in their contracts, then you know that you need to have better insurance for that particular country. So those are kind of business critical decisions that can be made, we can have better informed decisions if we have the right data with the help of legal tech. And then also, the next step, there are some companies that are using artificial intelligence to also have predictive decision making. So when we know that there is going to be a trend on a particular area or an aspect, then we discuss it as a strategy level, and we move in that direction.
You mentioned the 3 must-haves before the break. Do Securitas AMEA have those 3 must-haves?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, we check. We have it
Just
all.
wanted to check.
Amazing. Thank you, Ojas. I mean, there's so much about this is like so interesting, and bring us back to this discussion of adopting technology and change. There's so much of it, but it's not over yet.
We still have the last part left.
Exactly.
And we want to play the connection game with you, Ojas.
Whoop, whoop.
That's a surprise for me. So
I know.
let's go for it.
Do you know how it works?
No, I think it's better if you explain to me.
I will explain it. So we will say 3 words to you, and you will say the first thing that pops up in your mind when we say those words. We'll take it one by one. And you just say whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, it can be a memory, a person, another word, but you can elaborate on it. You don't have to say just one word.
So
anyway, I'm going to start with the first word, and the first we have is childhood.
I would say nomad, because I had a childhood where I was moving from place to place. So I've grown up across 10 different cities.
Whoa.
Cool.
So when you say childhood, that's the first word that comes to my mind.
It's cool. A young traveler already.
And the second word is NGO. It's actually not a word, it's an acronym. But anyway.
NGO, that's a word close to my heart. So when you say NGO, I think Project Abhimanyu. That's the name of my NGO, nonprofit that I run. And I've been doing that for 7.5 years now. And it's a nonprofit that works in the space of legal education.
That's so cool. So admirable. I love it. And the last word we have are, it's in a plural, so awards.
Oh, award. I don't know what to say to that. I think award, the word that comes to my mind is recognition. I think that's what awards do. They recognize the work that you do, and probably, help new entrants into that field of specialization get inspired. The word that comes to me is recognition.
Yeah, amazing. Well, now we're finally ending this episode with the connection game. So thank you so much, Ojas, for joining us for this amazing discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carin. Thank you so much, Marina. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, likewise. Amazing. Yeah, and thank you so much for listening to Connecting the Dots, our listeners out there. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.